from the National News Studio, Sri Lanka.
A very good evening to you and a warm welcome to the National News Telecast live from Channel I. I'm Sharifah Tahir.
And I am Lakshita Singha. We start off tonight by taking a quick look at your top stories.
"14 persons killed due to heavy rains. Rainy weather in the southwestern part is to continue. Several entrances of the Southern Expressway closed due to floods. Tomorrow is a holiday for all schools. The President reiterates that the country could be carried forward only through a systematic plan. UNP membership once again to Ranjit Madduma Bandara. The Mahasangha praised the statement of the President to grant prominence to Buddhism. The Israeli Prime Minister says there will not be a Gaza ceasefire until fulfillment of their military objectives. We move on to those and other stories in detail now, taking a look at local news first. And on our top stories, heavy rainfall has created an impact on 188 divisional secretariat divisions in 20 districts.
14 deaths have also been reported due to the disastrous situation. More than 13,500 persons belonging to 3,800 families have become victims of inclement weather. Taking into consideration of the plight, the Ministry of Education has decided to keep all schools in the island closed tomorrow. The ministry further informs that conducting of schools in the coming days would be determined according to the observation of the weather condition. Meanwhile, red notices issued on earth slips in many areas would continue to remain valid. The highest rainfall of 427.5 millimeters was reported from Ahaliaguda during the period 8:30 am yesterday until 7 am today. Thunder showers have also been reported from several other areas including Ingiriya and Akurasa. The Department of Irrigation have notified that areas along the rivers Kalani, Kalu, Nilwala and Ging as flood danger zones. Red notice landslide warnings continuously remain applicable for the Colombo, Kalathura and Ratnapura districts. Many areas in the city of Colombo have also been inundated due to the thunder showers. Our correspondent says many floods have occurred in the Padukka Divisional Secretariat Division as a result of the overflowing of the Pusweli Oya. Many houses in Mellavatta, Arukwatta and Galagidara have also come underwater and obstructions have been caused to vehicle transport in the Padukka-Hangwella road. Minister Bandula Gunawardena said that the engineers in the lower level as well as the provincial directors have been entrusted with the authority of taking decisions regarding the appropriate preparations of the road network under the Road Development Authority for public transport. The minister also said that the assistance of the three armed forces will have to be utilized in the normalization of tracks of the Department of Railways. He further said that their services will also be obtained in refuse management and voluntary services as well.
පොදු ප්‍රවාහනය කෙසේෝ කරගෙන යන්නට අවශ්‍ය විශේෂ වැඩසටහන් යොදලා තියෙනවා.
කලුගඟ ආශ්‍රිත ජලමාපකවලට
The Irrigation Department also warns of a severe flood situation in the low-lying areas of Kudaganga and Maguraganga in the Bulat Sinhala, Maduravala and Palindanura Divisional Secretariat divisions in the next 48 hours based on the readings of the water gauges in Kalu River. The Velipan entrance of the highway has been temporarily closed. The Road Development Authority informs that either entry or exit of the highway is impossible due to inundation. The authority also informs that vehicles coming from Mattala and from Colombo are unable to enter the highway via the Alutgama Matugama road. Many villages in the Matra district are also facing a flood threat due to the overflowing of the Nilwala river. The Divisional Secretariat divisions of Akurasa, Kamburupitiya, Aturalia and Malimbara have been named as severe danger zones. Vehicle transport in the main roads in the district has been obstructed. These roads include Kamburupitiya, Deyandara, Kamburupitiya, Horapavita and Akurasa, Kamburupitiya. The scenes indicate how low-lying areas in Mapalagama Galle have come underwater. As a result of upper catchment areas of the King River, heavy showers, the water level in the gauge in Baddagama has drastically risen. Fishermen and naval personnel have refrained from engaging in travelling in the sea in Galle and surrounding areas. The flood condition in King River is increasing, therefore the Naguda Pradeshi Sabha informs that residents living along the river to reach safer locations. Floods have also inundated the Beliatta Hakmana Tangol Nalagama Road and the Walasmulla Beliatta Road. Floods have also caused a severe impact on the Ratnapura and Alapatha Divisional Secretariat divisions as well. Vehicle transport in the area is impossible. The bad weather has affected many areas in the Dehiovita Divisional Secretariat division as well. The national television correspondent says the roads in Talduwa Dehiovita and Timbiripola in the Avissavela Galle road are underwater. The Puakpitia town and surrounding areas have also been inundated due to the overflowing of the Aswatu Oya, which led to the tragic deaths of a 6-year-old female child, her mother and grandfather. Residents say it was only after 80 years that a flood of this magnitude had occurred in the area. Traffic on the Colombo-Kandy main road came to a standstill due to the falling of a massive tree in the Helagala in Varakapola. Water level in the Kalani River has reached the spill level at many locations. The SLRC reporter says the Kalani River is overflowing at present in Kalani Mulla. A warning has been delivered to the people living in the low-lying valleys of the Kalani River in Kolonava. The water gauge in the Nagalagam street is increasing. Around 85 houses in Ambatale have been subject to flooding. Biyagama, Yabaralu and Malvan areas have also been inundated due to heavy rainfall. Our correspondent says the Biyagama entrance of the Southern Expressway was also underwater and incoming vehicles were forced to turn back. Meanwhile, the second rally of the series of rallies organized by the Sri Lanka Podujana Peramuna was scheduled to be conducted in Biyagama in the Gampaha district today. However, it was postponed due to the current rainy weather condition. National organizer of the SLPP, Namal Rajapaksa, says that his party has decided to contribute 1 million rupees for the Biyagama disaster relief services. Pradeshi Sabha officials and police officials have been successful in a joint operation to rescue a group of persons trapped in a building in Vagavatta Horana as a result of overflowing of the Mawa Koya. District Secretary Ratnapura Vasanta Gunaratna says around 10,000 persons in the district have been subject to a disastrous condition. An 11-year-old female child was killed when a soil mound has fallen on her house in Heva in Ahaliagoda. The victim, a grade 6 student in the Ahaliagoda National School, was also reported to pass the grade 5 scholarship examination. Many villages and the main road in Ahaliagoda as well as the Ratnapura Colombo main road in Gatahatta in the Ahaliagoda area are among the low-lying areas submerged by floods. The disaster relief teams of the Navy have been deployed to help the residents who are being victimized due to the disaster situation. These services are in operation in Velipenna, Palindanura, Puakpiti and Bulat Sinhala in the Kalutara district, Thavalam in the Galle district and Akurasa and Panaduma in Matara district. The Sri Lanka Army teams are also conducting boat services to rescue the people affected by the floods. These services are being operated in the areas of Kiriyalla, Ayagama, Dehiovita, Thalduwa, Galaturuwa, Kiriyalla, Moravaka, Thavalama, Tiagoda and Neluwa.
Well, more on the weather. We now connect our viewers with Director of the Disaster Management Centre, Mr. Pradeep Kodipilli, to receive further information regarding the prevailing inclement weather condition. Hello, very good evening to you.
Yeah, okay. So for the moment, the situation is getting a little bit worse with the rainfall occurring because it had more than 400 millimeters of rain at the Kalani River Basin as well as the Ilwala as well as the Kalu River Basin as well. So the death total went up to 10 and missing 5. Still we are conducting search and rescue missions. So prior to these disaster situations, we have allocated our boats and army and other troops been not allocated and they have been rescued. But with the 117 call center is connected with all the communities because we are advising all the communities to be vigilant with that prevailing situation, especially for the areas being identified for the landslide risk. Any kind of site of the landslide been observed, I think they need to move from these locations, because the red alert's been given in Ratnapura and Kalutara and Paduka and Colombo as well. So I think this is the critical situation, and the flood level is so heavy in the Kalu River basin as well. But Hangwell, it had more than 400 millimeters of rain, and the water is pouring up to the downstreams, and people are we have alerted all the downstream communities to be vigilant, especially in the Khadwil and the Chalani and those areas. So this is the situation. But as per the Met Department, they are expecting more rain today as well. But we are standby with our equipment and all, and relief missions are being conducted, and it is continued as well.
Right, Mr. Kodipilli. So in this regard, what precautions do you advise the general public to take if you said that it might continue as well, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely, because people, the communities, not to use this river water, because they are most of the communities, they are trying to enjoy with the flood water, but it's a very risky area. There are some deaths been recorded especially in the Master district as well, because people are enjoying, and people are going to visit the areas that where the floods occur. That's a very dangerous situation. So this is what, because we are advising and requesting all the communities to connect with the 117 call center number. It's totally free, and so we can assist all the communities as well, and all the district disaster management units is deployed in 24/7 basis as well.
Mr. Kodipilli, just one more question. How long would this inclement weather condition prevail? Do we see it subsiding anytime soon?
Yeah, actually, the Met Department, they have announced up to tomorrow morning might be a heavy rain, more than 150. But tomorrow it might be a little less rain will be occurring. But tomorrow it might be okay. But we are standby for today and tomorrow as well. But so the condition will not be decreased up to tomorrow morning. It might be a worse situation. But we are we already taken all the actions to minimize these damages as well.
Well, thank you very much, Mr. Pradeep Kodipilli, for the update. Thank you for joining.
In more stories about the inclement weather conditions, State Minister of Defence Pramita Bandara Tennakon says that measures have been taken to grant relief to the people affected by the rainy weather condition. State Minister of Defence Pramita Bandara Tennakon said that especially the Disaster Management Centre, the District Secretaries and the Divisional Secretaries are engaged in maximum efforts to grant relief in this regard. The Armed Forces, the Police and the Civil Defence Task Force have been stationed appropriately. The grassroots level officials, including Gram Nidadari's development officers, Samurdhi and agricultural officers and disaster relief officials, are also extending their maximum cooperation in the relief effort. He further said that special attention has been focused on the district on the instructions of the President. Governor of the Southern Province Lakshman Yapavewardena said that district secretaries have been instructed to release financial allocations to the Divisional Secretariat Division officers. The Governor further said that these funds will be utilized for the provision of necessary food items to the victims, to clear road obstructions, to relocate the displaced to secure places, for the provision of water and medicine and for restoration of power.
President Ranil Wickremesinghe stresses that the country could be carried forward only through a systematic plan. He also points out that as the country's economy has been stabilized, there should be no inclination towards traditional politics. Addressing the gathering at the distribution of appointment letters for United National Party seat organizers held at Sirikota Party headquarters today, he requested all to extend their support to the government without engaging in criticism. President Ranil Wickremesinghe said that some of their members had departed to establish the SJB without fully understanding the messages. Former President Gotabaya Rajapaksa proposed to Mr. Sajith Premadasa to assume the role of Prime Minister after the resignation of Prime Minister Mahinda Rajapaksa. However, he declined to the offer. If Mr. Premadasa or Mr. J.R. Jayawardena were in charge, this opportunity would not have been missed. That is the essence of the true United National Party. While the Janata Vimukti Peramuna and Sri Lanka Podu Jana Peramuna mocked and criticized them, the United National Party stood alone. None of them had a viable solution. Their adherence to old politics and deceit left them without answers. The President further said that he fearlessly embraced the role of Prime Minister because he had a solution. He added that acted decisively, knowing that the country's economy could be revitalized if they secured the promised $3 billion. From that point on, he dedicated himself to advancing the country's economy. The President further said that they have entered into an agreement with the International Monetary Fund outlining how they could achieve economic stability over the next 5 years. It is crucial that they adhere to this agreement, otherwise the country would risk losing their support in the future. As a government, they are actively working to formalize and enact the agreements made with the International Monetary Fund and other friendly nations by submitting them to the Parliament for legal approval. These proposed laws aims to transform the economy from one reliant on imports to one focused on exports. Only by adhering to these objectives can the nation progress. Hence, instead of disseminating misinformation, the President implored those with a formal program to either present it or endorse the current one. He added that back in 2020, when they first proposed this, it was met with rejection from all sides, leading them to their current predicament, and therefore rejected the current program with the International Monetary Fund would only exacerbate the situation. It's imperative that they devise a plan to revive the economy. Given the absence of such a plan from any party, the President appealed to all to unite and support the economic transformation law of the country. Criticism may be easy, but providing viable solutions is far more challenging. Hence, the President urged everyone to contribute constructive solutions instead of merely criticizing. Meanwhile, the United National Party Working Committee has decided today to free the suspended party membership of Ranjit Maddama Bandara. However, it has also been decided to continue the disciplinary inquiries regarding party membership as well. The Working Committee, under the leadership of President Ranil Wickremesinghe, has taken these measures.
In other news, the Maha Sangha have expressed their appreciation over the statement made by President Ranil Wickremesinghe regarding the responsibility of all to give prominent place to Buddhism according to the Constitution. President Ranil Wickremesinghe said that moreover the Constitution mandates that any government should accord priority to Buddhism. This responsibility is not solely vested in the government but extends to the state as a whole. Therefore, the support of all three branches of the state, the executive led by the President, the Parliament led by the Speaker and the judiciary led by the Chief Justice is essential to uphold this principle. Despite the conflicts experienced in the country, such a request has never before been raised or discussed. The President also said that it is essential to recognize that the three branches of government, the executive, the legislature and the judiciary should prioritize the Buddhist doctrine within the nation. The Constitution of the country underscores three fundamental principles: people's sovereignty, prioritizing Buddhism and maintaining territorial integrity. President of the National Sangha Conference, Venerable Liyanavela Shasana Ratanathero, said that it is only through the consolidation of Buddhism that the program to protect the religions and ethnic groups could be established. The Buddhism teaches not only a philosophy but also the state of mind. The Venerable Thero further said that the President has made the timely statement that it is a bounden duty of all to safeguard and nurture Buddhism. He further said that as President of the National Sangha Conference, he appreciates the statement. Venerable Shasana Ratanathero also said that this statement does not hurt feelings or followers of other religions, and it is a statement of truth and of the future vision. President of the Public Services United Nurses Union, Venerable Murugananda Thero, said that the politicians do not have any interest to implement the constitutional laws or to protect Buddhism. The Venerable Thero added that they are only concerned about protecting their parties and to achieve victories.
The Police Special Task Force has succeeded in raiding a large smuggling operation using ethanol illegally. A suspect was apprehended during the raid with 8,295 bottles of various types of alcohol and 4,950 litres of ethanol produced without a license. The suspect has been identified as a 27-year-old resident in Kalania. The suspect has been handed over to the Venapur excise station for further investigation. It has been revealed that this ethanol has been used to mix with arak and sell them to consumers at alcohol outlets. Numerous factions have expressed opinion regarding a statement made by a member of the political council of the Janata Vimukti Peramuna, K.D. Lal Kanta, regarding identification of business institutions of which they would take action after coming into power. The groups which criticize this statement point out that JVP members are making various utterances without having an understanding of the modern world. Member of the Political Council of the Janata Vimukti Peramuna, K.D. Lal Kanta, said that they should take as an example of large-scale business persons. He added that their business ventures could be taken over by the government, but they will also be given their due shares. Lal Kanta further said that this game should have been played in this way. The government could interfere to break down the mafia. JVP Political Council member also said the people are giving them a mandate to use the force in the appropriate manner.
ආණ්ඩු බලයයි රාජ්‍ය බලයයි පාවිච්චි කරනවා. අපි ඒගොල්ලෝ මාක් කරගෙන ඉන්නවා. කියන්න ඕනේ. මාක් කරගෙන ඉන්නවා. අරගලට. අරගලට. එහෙනම් තාම අපිට බලය දෙන්නේ ඒ බලය පාවිච්චි කරන් තියාගෙන ඉන්න නෙමෙයි. අපි ඒක කරමු. ඊටම ද්වේෂ සහගත ප්‍රකාශ.
Lawyer Kitsiri Anuradha Nayaka has said that this is a statement based on malice. The attorney at law also said they have already marked the enterprises to be taken over. Anuradha Nayaka further said the institutions that have been developed amidst difficulties are about to be collapsed due to jealousy of these individuals. This also eradicates the freedom to engage in businesses. The lawyer also said Lal Kanta has made another statement related to handing over the authority of implementing the law to the village. Anuradha Nayaka added that if they start acquiring properties and hand them to others, that means deprivation, economic freedom, resulting in Sri Lanka being isolated from the world.
A special health clinic was conducted at the Gurudev Suarana Bhikkhu Treatment Centre today. The hospital was declared open by President Ranil Wickremesinghe yesterday. The new medical centre is considered as Sri Lanka's first hospital for the treatment of bhikkhus. Today's health clinic was conducted under the patronage of Venerable Katuwana Jinavansa Thero. Minister Dr. Bandula Gunawardena was also present on the occasion. The health staff and the consultant physicians of the Horana Homagama and Vathara hospitals have taken part in the health clinic. The ailing bhikkhus are being accorded facilities to undergo treatments of qualified physicians at the Gurudev Suarana Bhikkhu Treatment Centre. That's all the local stories. Stay tuned with us for news from overseas coming your way after this short break.
People's debit iruk cash vename. People's debit iruk cash vename. People's Bank debit card இருக்கும்போது இப்போ கையில cash வச்சுக்க தேவையில்லை. எல்லா பேமெண்ட்டுக்கும் swipe பண்ணுங்க, tap பண்ணுங்க.
உங்கள் லட்சியம் தங்கம் என்றால் அது சுவர்ண பிரதீப தங்க கடன் அடகு சேவை மக்கள் வங்கியிடம் இருந்து.
Moving on to news overseas now, Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu says no Gaza ceasefire until Israel's war aims are achieved, raising questions over US President Biden's peace proposal. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu yesterday said that the conditions for ending the country's war in Gaza have not changed, raising questions over a peace proposal laid out by US President Joe Biden, which he said Israel submitted. During a speech, President Biden said Hamas had been degraded to a point where it can no longer carry out the type of attacks seen on October 7th that launched the current war. Part of the agreement, he said, would see a truce and hostage change while Israel and Hamas negotiate a permanent end to the fighting. It was perhaps the furthest Biden has gone in telling Israel its stated goals for its operation in Gaza have been met and that the time has arrived to stop the fighting. The proposal has been welcomed across the international community. The UN, the UK, France, Saudi Arabia and the UAE have all expressed support for Biden's proposal, while Qatar and Egypt joined the US in calling on Israel and Hamas to finalize the proposed ceasefire agreement. For its part, Hamas said it viewed the plan positively and is ready to deal positively and constructively with any proposal based on a permanent ceasefire.
The unprecedented heat wave in India has claimed dozens of lives in the past 24 hours. With this, the death toll due to heat waves across the country has reached 150. Over the past 3 days, temperatures in regions like Delhi, Rajasthan and Bihar have soared to around 53 degrees Celsius, marking a significant spike due to the prevailing heat wave. Delhi, India's capital, experienced its highest temperature ever recorded as a scorching 52.9 degrees Celsius, exacerbating the impact of the ongoing global climate crisis. Residents reported that while the actual temperature hovered around 45 to 47 degrees Celsius, the perceived temperatures felt much higher, reaching up to 57 to 58 degrees Celsius. This unbearable heat has inflicted severe hardship on the population, leading to a rise in heat wave-related fatalities. As temperatures continue to climb, the situation remains dire for many.
South Africa's President Cyril Ramaphosa is under growing pressure after leading the ruling African National Congress to its worst election result in 30 years, forcing it to share power. With almost all the votes in from Wednesday's poll, the African National Congress is on 40%, down from 58% at the previous election. This is lower than the party's feared worst-case scenario of 45%, analysts say.
Artificial intelligence-generated content became one of the most talked-about topics at the 20th China International Cartoon and Animation Festival. Artificial intelligence-generated content refers to images and videos generated by using artificial intelligence. At this year's festival held recently, many companies and products have integrated artificial intelligence-generated content into their offerings. The development of the content has also caught the attention of industry leaders and researchers. How to utilize AIGC and address its impact has become a hot topic. Though artificial intelligence still has many shortcomings in terms of originality, which also prompts practitioners to consider what kind of animation creation cannot be replaced by AI. More and more artificial intelligence-generated content is being applied in creation, causing major shifts in the entire industry. While for top creators, AI is more of a tool, for the vast majority of animation practitioners, the challenges brought by AI are just the beginning.
Welcome back. We move on to sports news now. Sri Lanka's maiden encounter in the current T20 World Cup cricket tournament will be against the South African team at the Nassau Stadium, New York, tomorrow.
The Sri Lanka team had already competed in 189 T20 fixtures and won 85 of them. It was in the year 2014 that Sri Lanka became the T20 World Cup champions for the last time. In the last T20 World Cup cricket tournament in 2022, Sri Lanka was able to enter the round of the Super 12 teams. Vanidhu Hasaranga gives leadership to the Sri Lankan team in the current tournament. The Sri Lankan rivals, the South Africans, had so far engaged in 176 matches and won 96 of them. The South African team is captained by Aiden Markram. The Sri Lanka-South Africa match will commence at 8 p.m. Sri Lanka time tomorrow. And with that, we wrap up tonight's news bulletin. Do join us tomorrow for more of the very latest. Until then, good night.
Good night.